So my name is Jackie. I'm the Director of Education for Girls Who Code Campus. And again, this is the teacher virtual info session. I'm going to go ahead and project the slides now. Awesome. Okay. So what we will do is go ahead and take a look at our agenda. So again, I am going to be talking today primarily about the campus program. So if you have questions about SIP and clubs, I'll do my best to try to answer those, but I'll also be following up with information and resources to point you in the right direction. But today we're going to focus on what it's like to teach campus. I'll give you a little bit of an overview of Girls Who Code. We'll then deep dive more into campus, both the logistics and then talking about the curriculum. We'll also hear from a former teacher, Emily Roach, is in this hangout with us, which I'm really excited about. We'll talk about all the training and support that we offer teachers and TAs, and then we'll talk about how to apply, and then we'll have time at the end for a designated Q&A. So Girls Who Code is a nonprofit organization, and we're working to eliminate the gender gap in tech. Right now, we do that through a wide variety of different programs and initiatives, and some of those include our free after-school clubs program for girls in 3rd through 12th grade. We also have a free 7-week summer immersion program, or SIP program, for rising juniors and seniors in high school. We also have a tuition-based 2-week summer immersion program with specialized course offerings, and that's Campus, the program we're talking about today. So it is tuition-based, but we also offer scholarships. We have a free program for college alumni called College Loops, and then some of our other initiatives include we have a series of fiction and nonfiction books. We do public policy work, and then Reshma has a podcast and a new book out called Brave Not Perfect. And so far, we've reached over 90,000 girls through our programming, and we are on track to reach gender parity in computing by 2027. So that is just a little bit about Girls Who Code, and I'm going to shift most of the conversation to be more specific to campus now. So campus has always been first and foremost about Girls Who Code's core mission of closing the gender gap in tech by reaching as many girls as possible through our programming. So we offer 2-week specialized courses that happen typically at universities and secondary schools. Our classes run Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then each classroom is led by one instructor and one teaching assistant. Awesome. So we were talking about courses run from 9 to 4. And again, if any technical issues come up like that, do please interrupt me. I don't want you to look at a blank screen for a while. Each classroom, no matter the number of students, will always have one instructor and one teaching assistant in the room. And as I mentioned, campus is tuition-based, but we also offer need-based scholarships. 20% of all of our seats are filled by need-based scholarship students. Great. With campus, we've created an opportunity for Girls Who Code to expand our reach while simultaneously creating a new revenue stream for the organization via this tuition-based program model. So earning revenue from participants for our program helps Girls Who Code be less reliant on corporate philanthropy as we grow and mature as an organization. It helps ensure our sustainability, and it increases our capacity to do this important work, including running many programs that are free of charge to girls who otherwise wouldn't be able to access them. So this year, for campus, we're going to be running programs in 6 cities: Boston, New York City, Washington, D.C., and the Baltimore metro region, Seattle, the Bay Area, and Los Angeles. I'd love for you to hear the student perspective a little bit, so I want to share this really short video. If the video is coming out choppy or like you're not able to hear it, it has worked before. Please let me know and I'll send it as a link, but it's pretty awesome. This is from an iPhone app course and a wearable tech course from this past summer in New York City.
When you walk in, there's so many girls with so many different ideas. These girls want to make a change. The way you could do that is technology.
All
makes me feel very productive. We finish a project and a half every day.
And not a lot of girls have this opportunity.
I think that's what Girls Who Code gives us. It provides us a sisterhood.
We're all friends here. Yeah.
And they're great with compromise. They're great with new ideas. I definitely wouldn't be able to do this by myself.
There's definitely some things you have to push through. I struggled with the coding at first.
Something weird is happening. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to change. I am changing that.
Because it is a different way of thinking. But after a week, we pretty much all got the hang of it. Going into this, I was a little bit like on the edge because I didn't know if it was going to feel like school or not. But I'm really happy that I went through it because without it, I wouldn't have made this beautiful piece that I'm really proud of alongside my partners, and I wouldn't have met all these great girls.
So we need to look at the accelerometer. Like negative needs to go to negative, positive needs to go to positive.
I really like coding, and I think I am advancing myself.
I felt really proud of myself.
It's really amazing that you could bring all these talented, creative girls together and create something beautiful.
Awesome. So that was, again, featuring a wearable tech classroom and an iPhone app development class, and also Emily was actually in that video as well. So now I'll talk a little bit more, now that you've had a chance to see a little bit inside a classroom, about what some of those different courses that we offer are. So we offer 5 different 2-week courses to girls between the ages of 10 and 18. One is Intro to Computer Science with Scratch. Another is Wearable Tech and Fashion Design with LilyPad Arduino, Web Design and Development, and then 2 different iPhone app development courses. Our courses range from beginner to advanced. So our Intro to CS course is a beginner course, and it's for girls ages 10 to 14. Our Wearable Tech course is for girls ages 11 to 15 this year. Last year we offered this course to girls ages 13 to 18, but we've revised it to fit for a younger age group. Web Design and Development is for girls ages 13 to 18 and can serve as an intermediate offering or as an entry point if girls come to us for the first time when they're 13 and up. iPhone App Development 1 is for girls ages 13 to 18, and it is considered an advanced course offering. We recommend that girls have taken a previous computer science class with a text-based programming language, or like a summer program where they've programmed with a text-based language. iPhone App Development 2 is new this year, and it's also for girls ages to 13 to 18. And we consider this as a follow-up course to our iPhone 1 course, so we recommend that girls have taken another iOS class either through campus or school or another summer program before enrolling. And April, I will share the slides after, but I'm also just gonna like drop them into the chat right now so you can see them as well in case you're having issues. One second while I pull that up. All right. So if you do want to take, or if you do want to see the slides, you can see them right there in the chat. Okay, awesome. If you want to learn more details about each of these courses before you consider applying, you can check out our course catalog, which I'll also attach in a follow-up email. It's also linked here in these slides, or you can also explore our courses on our website, linked here in the slides and also in the follow-up email. So Girls Who Code and campus instructors work to do so much more than just teach girls computer science. Aside from learning how to code, we have 3 overarching outcomes that we work to achieve for our students. The first is that girls see themselves as part of a sisterhood of women in technology. We do this through daily sisterhood activities, women in tech spotlights, pair programming, and other collaborative and supportive instructional techniques. We also want girls to see that computer science can help them build bravery and resilience by tackling difficult problems and showing them that it's about making and learning from their mistakes and trying things they don't quite feel ready for. And lastly, we want girls to walk away from our programs knowing that they can use computer science to change the world around them. So we feature women in tech that use computer science to solve problems in their community and make a positive difference in the world. We also encourage students to solve issues that matter to them during their capstone week of the program, which is in week 2. So beyond just teaching code, we're really looking for instructors and TAs that can create classroom environments where girls feel empowered to take risks, try something new, and believe that they can make a difference in their community with computer science. I'm going to shift now to talk a little bit more about our curriculum and how it's organized. So we have it organized into 2 different weeks. In the first week, girls focus on learning language fundamentals and computer science basics through daily projects, coding challenges, and unplugged activities. Students work through projects collaboratively as a class and also independently. Another focus in the first week of campus is building sisterhood and a really strong supportive classroom culture through daily team building and other activities like daily shoutouts, breaks and energizers, and pair programming. In the second week, or the capstone week, students work together in pairs and teams to brainstorm, plan, design, build, and pitch a final project. They use real software engineering practices like Scrum, Agile, and Kanban. And something that's new for this year is on the second day of their capstone week, all campus classes will participate in a field trip or a campus tour. On the final day of the program, we encourage families to join in the afternoon for a demo day and celebration of students' hard work and their final projects. I'd like to highlight just a few key features of campus this year that impact our instructors and TAs, some changes from last year. So this year we have 2 scheduled daily breaks that we want instructors to take with students every day. These are additional opportunities to build sisterhood and have fun with students. And we provide suggested activities like minute-to-win-it challenges and supplies for teachers to make the most of this time. This year we're also doing something called the Daily Photo Challenge, where we encourage students and instructors to share their campus experience by taking photos around a different theme each day. And then, as I mentioned, this year we will be having an off-site field trip or campus tour in the second week. And then finally, to make communicating with parents easier, we have a parent engagement app this year through Brightwheel that's used to share photos, updates, and do things like take attendance. So TAs and instructors will help upload photos and take attendance and make sure that we're sharing communications through this app. We design and provide all of the curriculum materials and training needed to teach and run a campus course. This includes things like the daily lesson plans and slides, which are pictured to the right. And then something that is new for this year is we've created facilitation guides with checks for understanding or like key questions to ask students, common misconceptions for each project, and each major programming activity. This is to help teachers not feel tethered to their computer so they can be walking around and helping students or guiding a code-along style activity with this guide. So we also provide student and teacher-facing instructions for all activities on HQ, which is our custom learning platform, also featured to the right on the slide. We also provide all of the handouts, all the physical materials, and the supplies for all activities. And if for some reason we've forgotten something or you feel that your classroom is missing something important, we are also able to reimburse you for picking that up as well or send it out. We also have a teacher toolkit on HQ that has is easy access to lots of useful resources, important links, and things that you'll need to use on a daily basis. So now I'd love to shift to actually hearing from a former campus instructor, Emily. So Emily, I will stop presenting, and you can unmute yourself if you'd like.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, awesome. Thank you so much, Emily, for being here.
My pleasure.
Cool. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and how you've been involved with Girls Who Code?
Sure. So I am a middle school computer science teacher, and at my school I facilitate a Girls Who Code club. This is my second year doing that, and last year I was campus teacher. I did intro to CS, wearable tech, and iPhone app development. So you could catch me lurking in the background of that video. So good to see the girls again. I miss them. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Yeah, you did teach a lot of classes, which was pretty cool. What was your favorite memory from last summer?
So every course that I taught was so different. So the this is a hard question, so I'll just pick one, but know that there were many more. So in the first course I taught Intro to CS, there was one girl who was really smart and she was getting it, and then we hit functions, and it was a totally new concept, and she felt like she was out of her depth. And as a teacher, you know, you see this all the time, starting to feel that stereotype threat and loss of motivation, but what you don't always see is the kids really push through it, especially in the span of just a few days, and she did. And her excitement when it clicked was electric. She was so proud. And we were so proud of her, and she ended up using them in her capstone project, and it was just such a great moment. And I think that, you know, the difference was the environment that Girls Who Code provides. It's a very intentional, brave, not perfect space. We were doing daily shout-outs. We got to shout her out for it. There's a lot of student empowerment through voice and choice, and the teaching techniques learned in training really helped create that environment. So that was so awesome to see. It's just such a feeling of accomplishment at the end.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of moments of frustration and then like eventually like getting over that hump that happened in our classrooms. Cool. What advice would you give to a new instructor or to someone that's thinking about teaching?
Well, my first piece of advice is to do it, because it was such an awesome experience. You know, being a teacher and usually having students for a semester, I definitely underestimated just how much can happen in 2 weeks when you're in this intensive program and you're spending so much time with the girls. So the relationships that you form with them and the progress that they make, you know, both in their technical skills but also in their self-confidence is really something. So my first piece of advice, definitely do it. My second piece of advice, when you're going through the process, trust the process, trust the team. You're doing a lot, but they will not send you in unprepared. You should definitely do the example lessons in advance. Don't wing it. You know, it's always good to model debugging and productive responses to not knowing the answer, and you will have all of that, but definitely it really helps you feel confident to have done the projects in advance. Other piece of advice is to believe the Girls Who Code campus team when they say that you can adjust the curriculum and tailor the class to your students. They really do give you that leeway. They really do trust you as the expert of your class. So my TAs and I cut out some activities when the group needed more time on something and found that it was so much better for them to really understand everything that they did than for us to push them through a project and they've made something cool, but they don't feel like they really made it. So the campus team was so great about trusting us and empowering us and supporting us. So you should definitely feel like that's something that you can do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone want to ask Emily any questions right now? She'll also be like hanging around during Q&A. So if you don't have any yet, you'll have another chance as well. Going once, going twice. Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. And again, if you didn't get to ask, oh, maybe that was a question in the chat. Yes. What advice would you give teachers who don't have a background in computer science?
That's a really good question. I think that a lot of the teachers that I met through the program did not have a background in computer science. And I think it's good for the girls to see that too, because you know, it takes a lot of vulnerability to dive into something like this, and for you to model that is really awesome. The TAs that I had a technical background, so even if I hadn't, I could have relied on them for that, and also relied on the staff, done the projects in advance. I definitely think it's doable if you don't have a computer science background, because you can bring in, you know, classroom management and bonding with the girls and modeling that vulnerability for them.
Yeah, definitely. The only thing I'd add is we also try to be really intentional that if a teacher maybe doesn't have as strong of a technical background, that we try to pair them with a TA who does have a stronger technical background. And I think back to Emily's point of like doing the pre-work, that really like helps you build up that confidence like before you go in. So great question. Yeah, of course. Any other questions? Going once, twice. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Emily. I'm going to shift back to presenting the screen. We have a few more things to chat about before we get to Q&A. Screen 2. What are the dates that each program runs throughout the summer? Great question. I can give you some estimates, and then in the follow-up, I can also send you specific dates for a given market, but they run anywhere from like early to early June to like mid-August. I know in New York City, for example, we have a lot of June programs. We have like 1 or 2 in July, and then we have like 2 in August, and we're trying to add a few more options in July and August. But it does depend. We have 31 different classrooms right now, so I don't know them all off the top of my head, but I can also get you that information. Awesome. Keep the questions coming like as we go along. Happy to like interrupt to answer them. So I'd like to talk a little bit now about some of that training and support that we provide our instructors and TAs. So typically in April, we will send instructors pre-work and additional learning resources to help you get up to speed if you're new to the language or to the tools. So beyond just the projects, we'll point you to some great tutorials and some beginner things if you are new to that particular programming language or to computer science in general. This year, we're also going to be offering some online info sessions and onboarding support with myself and also with Jasmine, who's our program manager. We also run a paid in-person training in New York City, and that's going to be June 8th and 9th this year. So we'll fly you into New York City if you're not local, and then we pay for you to stay the nights of the 7th and the 8th. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and it's a really cool opportunity to meet other people that are also teaching campus. We also provide paid time for you to prep and meet with your TA in advance of the program launching. That's typically the Friday before a program launches, but sometimes that date needs to flex, either for instructor schedule or for the school schedule and things like that. Another unique support and process that we have is called daily feedback. So daily feedback is where you can ask Girls Who Code for support and resources depending on like what happened that day in your classroom. Now, if it's an emergency, we have more expedited like requests for emergency help. We want you to reach out right away, not wait until the end of the day. But the daily feedback is a great place for you to tell us if you need help thinking through a student support issue, if there was something wrong with curriculum materials, or some other problem that we can help troubleshoot. The daily feedback is also completed by students, and we ask that teachers review that every day, and it's a great way to kind of see how girls felt and like make a plan for what you want to do differently, or maybe a specific student you want to check in the next day. And then we also look at student feedback and use that to student and teacher feedback, and we use that to make changes to the curriculum, both like as programs are going on, but also like bigger changes during the year when we're not running programs. We also have a Slack channel for campus teachers and TAs to collaborate and connect with their peers while people are kind of spread out around the country. It's a great place to also just go see really cool things that other kids and teachers are making. And then finally, we do our best to visit each city where campus is running and try to make classroom visits. It's not a guarantee that we'll be in every single classroom, but we really do our best to try to get into as many as possible. And then the supports that we provide for TAs are super similar. The biggest difference is that TA training happens online, and this year it's going to be through a mix of synchronous, so like live sessions kind of like this, and then asynchronous sessions where people can complete them on their own time. There's just a few basic logistics about our teaching roles that I'd like to share. First, we ask that teachers be on site and working from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the program. So this gives you time to prep for the day, greet the kids, debrief, and clean up at the end of the day. And we pay as I said, we pay instructors for in-person training and for preparing with their TA the Friday before the program. TAs are paid for online training and for preparing the Friday before the program launch. And then this year, instructors earn $25 an hour and TAs earn $15 an hour. Because you're working from 8 to 5, you'll actually hit overtime this year, and that means that your pay rate will change for the last 5 hours to be time and a half. It might be helpful to also just point out a few nuances between the instructor and TA roles. I know that some people sometimes are thinking about applying for both, so this might help you decide which one feels like a better fit for you. So we see instructors as the classroom leaders. They're like responsible for setting the really strong and supportive tone and culture and for leading a lot of the instruction. They also serve as mentors and coaches for their TAs, but don't worry, like we provide some resources and guidance on how you can mentor your TA while you're at teacher training. And then we see TAs as providing instructional support. They can lead some sections of instruction, especially maybe if they're very technically strong. But they also serve as near-peer mentors for girls. So a lot of them are undergraduate students who are in CS programs right now. You can kind of talk about what that's like studying it in high school and making the transition to college. TAs also help with logistics and supplies, and this year they're going to be helping out a lot with the parent engagement app. So earlier someone asked a question about if you don't have a CS background, and I'd like to just talk now a little bit about how diverse the backgrounds and experiences are of our instructors and our TAs when it comes to computer science and industry experience. So many of our instructors are actually K-12 teachers or industry professionals or graduate students in STEM and computer science programs. We're really looking for people that can connect with kids and create inclusive and supportive learning environments first and foremost. Technical experience is great, but the desire and the interest to learn computer science and then share that love of learning computer science is even more important. So if you've been thinking that you want to bring coding into your classroom, or maybe you want to start a club but you're not sure how to get started, this could also be a great way for you to learn some of those skills that you can take back to your classroom. Last year, some of our strongest instructors were K-12 teachers that were new to CS but had really strong teaching experience, as Emily pointed out. So they were really interested in learning to code and then taking that back to their classroom. We had several math teachers who had never coded before but learned it for this program and did an amazing job and had a great time. And this year they're actually teaching CS, which is pretty cool too. We provide really detailed pre-work and resources to help you get up to speed on the programming language and curriculum in advance of that in-person teacher training. And then at our in-person teacher training, there's time for you to work on building projects or reviewing the curriculum with other instructors that are teaching the same course as you. We also try to provide targeted workshops that are going to teach you skills about how to actually teach code. So that's also going to be like a new workshop this year at teacher training. So if you're really passionate, motivated, and interested, I would definitely encourage you to apply. And then finally, some logistics around how to apply. So you're going to complete an application online. It's linked there. You can also go to the bit.ly link, and I will also share all of these links in my follow-up email. When you go to complete your application, you're going to need to submit a resume and a cover letter, and then you also will select the programs that you're interested in teaching. So you'll be able to see the cities, which courses, and also I believe the dates on the application. Our recruiters will then review your application and they'll reach out to schedule a video interview. And then when they do that, they'll also share with you a technical challenge or about the technical portion of your interview. So you're going to be asked to prepare to teach and pair program a solution to a coding challenge with an interviewer in a language of your choice. Now, don't stress out because we're not looking for this to be like a perfectly coded solution, and we provide you with a lot of recommendations and links to help you get started if you're new to CS. And you get to pick whatever programming language you want to use to actually do your interview in. What we're looking for is that candidates take the time to prepare in advance of the interview and that they do great teacher moves like checks for understanding and things like that. We're not looking for the portion of the interview to go perfectly. So definitely think about applying. And with that, that's kind of the end of the planned talk portion. love to open it up to questions either for myself or for Emily. Or Emily, if you feel like you have a great answer to one, you can totally jump in too.